The Travel Transformation Podcast is proud to be partnered with Give the Goodness Global, an amazing global outreach project helping families in need all over Southeast Asia and beyond. Please check them out at Instagram.com/Give the Goodness Global today. And now on to the podcast episode.
Welcome to the Travel Transformation Podcast, where we talk all things travel and all things transformation, exploring the life-changing potential of solo travel, intentional travel, and location-independent working. Whether you're an aspiring digital nomad or simply wish to boost your confidence through epic travel experiences, I'm here to motivate and inspire you to go after all your wildest dreams. I'm Jessica Grace Coleman, author, certified travel coach, founder of the Travel Transformation Company, and your host for the Travel Transformation Podcast. Travel changed my life. Now let's change yours. You ready? Let's go. Welcome to the Travel Transformation Podcast. I'm your host, Jess, and this is the last podcast episode of the Travel Transformation Podcast for this year. If you missed last week's episode, missed my announcements, I'm now doing just one episode a week, going back to just Travel Transformation Tuesdays. And also next week, I'm having a week off for Christmas. So this is the last one of the year. And it is actually my review of the year of 2023 and looking ahead to 2024. Now, I did an episode like this last year when the podcast had only been going for a little while. So I listened to that again last night to remind myself of what I'd said. And if you want to listen to it before listening to this, it is episode 16. It's called Review of My Year. It's called Bonus at Review of My Year and My 2023 Plans. So if you want to listen to that, you can go to traveltransformationcoach.com/16, the numbers 16, to listen to episode 16. So assuming that this podcast keeps going year on year, which I hope it will, I want to do this every year because I think it's a great way of reflecting on the past year, looking ahead to the next year, and it's a good thing that I can actually go back and listen to myself. I know where it is, it's online, I don't have to find out a journal from a year ago or anything like that. So I highly recommend you do something like this. Maybe you could record a video on your phone or audio, or just maybe get together with friends and do it with friends every year. I think it's a really important thing to look back at what you've achieved, compare it to the year before, but not in a way that makes you feel bad if you haven't done as much as the year before. See if you've achieved the things you wanted to achieve. If not, maybe you don't want to achieve them anymore. Maybe you want to change what you want to achieve for next year. Or maybe you want to roll them over to next year, that's fine too. So yeah, as I said, I listened back to episode 16 last night, made some notes, and I basically talked a lot about congratulating yourself for the things you've done, even if they didn't have the outcome you wanted, because I'm really bad at this. I go through things that I want to do, I achieve them, I forget about them, I move on to the next thing. I don't really stop to celebrate a lot of the time, but I'm trying to get better at that. And even if they don't have the outcome I would like, maybe I wrote a book and absolutely no one read it, but I still wrote a book. I could still celebrate that. Like, doing the thing is just as important as the outcome sometimes, and we have to celebrate that. So I want to celebrate all the stuff I've done this year, even if it's not as much as I did the year before, if it doesn't seem as much. And listening back to my episode, it really does seem like I've done a lot less this year. Just because last year, 2022, was so transformative for me. And again, listen to episode 16 if you want to know why. But I did a lot of stuff. I made a lot of big life changes. And that hasn't been the case this year. But it doesn't mean it's a worse year. It doesn't mean it's a bad year. It just means it's different. So I just want to point that out. It really doesn't help us to compare ourselves to other people and where they are in life. It also doesn't really help us to compare with ourselves last year on certain topics. We might have grown a lot in one area, but there's nothing tangible yet that shows us that. And maybe that will happen in the next year, or maybe you'll come to realize how much you've changed over time. So don't look back and think, oh my gosh, I've done nothing this year. I bet you have, and I bet the ripple effects will continue coming for years to come if you've been working on yourself, personal development, self-growth, all that good stuff that I talk about a lot, mindset. And yes, just remember that when you're looking back over your calendar, which is what I'm about to do. So one of the things I mentioned was how I hoped the podcast would still be going in December 2023 and that I'd have lots of cool things to talk about. I'm not sure about how many cool things I have to talk about, but it's still going. So yay me. Something to celebrate. And yeah, I think I like to think of themes for the year. For 2022, like I said, the theme for me looking back was transformation. I transformed so much. I made a business out of it, Travel Transformation Coach. For 2023, I think the theme, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll come back to this at the end of the episode once I've gone through my whole year. But I think looking back, we can kind of come up with a word or something like that to focus on, or that can encompass our entire year. And maybe the theme is just continuation. Maybe in 2022, the word for me was transformation. This year, it's been continuation. Hopefully next year, I will progress more in the areas I want to progress. One of the things I mentioned last year, which made me laugh, was I went in 4 hot tubs last year and I wanted to make it 5 this year. And in 2023, I went in a grand total of 1 hot tub. So, bit of a fail, but I think 1 hot tub per year is good in my book. It's my happy place. It's where I feel relaxed. And I talk about this in the episode recently when I talked about my Wales trip, which is episode 101. Are you getting in your own way? A Welsh story. Yeah, me and my friends, we went in the hot tub in Wales and it was absolutely pouring it down. It was basically hailing at one point. And I was sitting there with my little bobble hat on going, this is absolutely ridiculous. And we just had a real good laugh. So it's good for the soul, laughing at yourself. So yeah, next year, I think I need to match that. At least 1 hot tub next year. Hopefully 2. I'm going to put that out there. And next year when I do this episode looking back, if the podcast is all going, fingers crossed, then I will see how many hot tubs I managed to do in 2024. Okay, so I'm going to go through my calendar. I have a Google Calendar that I put everything in. And, well, more or less everything. I'm probably going to miss quite a few things. But I'm going to go through my year month by month to see what I did, what the outcome was, how it helped me, all that stuff. So January 2023, it seems like a long time ago. So I was working. I have an editing business as well. So I sort of do a lot of editing work, ghostwriting work, proofreading work. Then I have my podcast and I have all my travel transformation work, all my books I'm working on, all that good stuff, courses, online stuff like that. So I had a business meeting with my brother Dave on the 3rd, talking about the direction I want to go in. Podcast interviews that week, Zoom calls with friends, stuff like that. I had a video call with my friend Deanna to talk about traveling in the spring, summer. She is from Canada, but she likes to come over to Europe during the spring and summer. So I had a call with her to discuss that. Then work. And then on Saturday the 14th, I went to Heathrow and I flew to Cape Town, South Africa. And this was a pretty huge trip for me because I've never even set foot on the African continent. And I like the idea of taking another continent off my list, but it wasn't really on my plan to go to South Africa. But I met someone from South Africa, Irene, last year, and she was renting an Airbnb, and another friend of mine, Sunny, was there. A couple of other people I'd met in co-livings. We're going to work and live in an Airbnb. So sometimes your plans change just literally based on who you meet. And I've always thought South Africa looks beautiful. So I took the chance to go. The first weekend I got there, though, it was a bit intense because I flew out at 5:40 p.m. from London. I arrived in Cape Town at 5:20 a.m. London time, I believe. I immediately met Irene at the airport because she'd just flown in from Joburg. We went and met our friend Sunny, who's from Korea, and we went to the Airbnb, dumped our stuff. I think I had a very quick shower, and then we headed out to the Botanic Gardens. There was an outdoor picnic concert thing going on with a band called Mango Groove, which is a well-known South African band. And I was running on fumes by this point. I never really sleep on flights too much. I just can't do it. I can barely sleep in a bed sometimes. I'm not a great sleeper. So I was absolutely knackered. Yeah, we were drinking, and then we went to this bar called The Commons in Muizenberg. And then we only had one key for the Airbnb at this point, and there was, 7 of us. And it was hard to get Ubers, so half of us got back and didn't have a key, so we went and stood outside the tidal pool for a bit. And load shedding was a thing I didn't really understand before I went, and it happened while It happens a few times a day, but it happened while we were at the tidal pool across the road from our house, and all the lights on all the houses in the bay just went off at the same time. And I was like, what is happening? But also it was quite cool because you could see the stars. It was nice by the bay, and I was a bit drunk and very tired. By this point, I'd been up for, I don't even know how many hours. So yeah, that was the Botanic Gardens are beautiful as well. Just the landscape, amazing. We were all very surreal because I was very tired. But yeah, I've done an entire podcast episode on my South Africa trip, if you're interested. It is number 28. It's called My South Africa Roundup, so you can go and listen to that. But this is my first big trip in 2023. Started off with a bang, going all the way to South Africa. So yeah, we did a lot of work while I was there. Did a lot of shopping. They had really cool outdoor markets, really cool indoor markets as well, the Bluebird Garage Market, where you could go and eat and drink and buy things. 3 of my favourite things. It was absolutely beautiful. We stayed in a little place called Kalk Bay on the coast, about 40 minutes from Cape Town. And I loved going to see the penguins in Simonstown. I had a little day out by myself, saw the penguins right on the beach. Absolutely adorable. Took myself out for dinner, had cocktails. It was very nice. I just did not do well in the heat. I don't do well in heat generally. And it wasn't even like super hot there. I think just the sun just seemed very different over there. I got burnt every time I left the house, even if it wasn't particularly hot or sunny. And I had comedy sunburn most of the time, so that wasn't fun. You know, when it's really bad and you can't sleep on it, and then you just like, ugh. And also, like a week after I got there, I think I slept for like 2 days straight because trying to catch up with the sleep I'd lost when I flew over there. So yeah, there was a lot of that going on. I was quite tired and hot all the time, but that's just me. Yeah, again, you can listen to the South Africa episode for that. So my friend Sunny was there for a bit, then she left. There were some other people I'd already met, some people I met when they came, and we lived together for a bit. The house was amazing. And again, this is all in the episode. We went to Stellenbosch, aka Stellies, which was a really cool university town. I really liked it. It reminded me of Pearl Street Mall in Colorado, in Boulder, where I went to university for a year. And yeah, so I was meant to actually stay there longer than I did. I came back earlier. A lot of the people there were hiking the Whale Trail, which is like a 5-day hike. And considering how I was doing in the heat, just like going to a shop, I was like dying and sunburnt. I was like, I don't think I'm going to live through a 5-day hike. So I went back earlier than usual. I changed my flight. And sometimes you got to do that. I could have stayed somewhere by myself. I didn't really want to stay in Cape Town by myself, though. I don't think I would have gone out when it was dark, gone out much on my own. So I thought I'd save some money. Cost me a little bit to change my flight, but not much, with Virgin Atlantic, which is weird because I didn't actually go over the Atlantic. But yeah, that was my first big trip. And again, you can listen to that podcast episode all about it. And I'm really glad I went. It was great to see Irene again, Sunny again, Ali and Alex, the couple that I knew from Spain. It's great to see them again, meet new people. And I'm really glad I've now been to Africa. Obviously, I've only been to a tiny bit of it. But so now I need to go to South America and Antarctica. But yeah, I'm not someone who has to go somewhere just to tick somewhere off. It's nice to have been to Africa now. Okay, so that was January. That was the entirety of February. No, it wasn't. I came back late February. Lots of boring things, work. I went hot air ballooning with Donna, who is my brother's girlfriend. It was starting at the Trenton Monkey Forest. We weren't with the monkeys, it was just at the entrance. And it was really cool. It's the second time I've been in a hot air balloon. Second time I've had a crash landing. Apparently 1 in 3 landings in hot air balloons are sort of called crash landings. But we really did. We crashed pretty hard, as in we ended up on the side of the balloon. There was like a good 16 people maybe in there. And we had to wait and get out in turns. So I've got some really funny video of just like a load of people sideways just waiting to exit this basket. So that was quite dramatic, but really fun. Then I went on the 7th of March, I went on the Travel Coach Network podcast. And that was, I think maybe the second podcast interview I did. I was terrified. I've been a part of the Travel Coach Network for a while. I did my certification for travel coaching through them. And yeah, just thinking about how nervous I was when I got interviewed that time, it was, completely different to how I get interviewed now. Like, I still get a bit nervous, but I could just view it as a conversation and have fun with it. Whereas then I was like, this is very, very scary. So that's interesting to look at that. Okay, so we're in March. In March the 16th, I did the Neighbours Farewell Tour, which actually turned into the Neighbours Celebration Tour. This is a TV show, Australian TV show that's huge in England, in the UK in general. Not so much in Australia, but some people over there still watch it. And it got cancelled, but then Amazon Freevee bought the rights back for a couple of years. So we went and saw, I think it was about 6 actors, and then we're doing this tour, reminiscing about the good old days of Neighbours, but it turned into a celebration tour, so that was really fun. Yep, that was March. Oh wait, no, so 22nd of March, I went to Expert Empires in London, in the London Hilton Wembley Hotel. I went because one of my mentors, Denise Duffield Thomas, was there doing a talk, and I got one of the first 50 tickets through her link, and so I got to go to a VIP breakfast with her as well. So that was amazing. I did an episode on this as well. Episode 35, my takeaways from the Expert Empires event in London. So I won't ramble on about that, but you can hear more. Episode 35, traveltransformationcoach.com/35 if you want to hear more about that. It was really good. I also met up with my friend Susie and went to Covent Garden while I was there. I had a great time. I always like going to London. I don't think I could live there. I think it would annoy me on the tube every day, but I really like going to visit. So that was towards the end of March. I was in London for a few days. So yeah, there's just a lot of podcasting, a lot of interviews. On the 30th, I was a guest travel coach on the Travel Coach Network membership, and that really freaked me out. That was scary. And I was talking about putting yourself out there and not being scared to put yourself out there, so it was all very meta. But I'm really glad I did it. Every little thing I did, like being on other people's podcasts, doing the guest travel coaching, it all added up to me getting over my fear of doing this kind of stuff. So you might think, oh, it's just a little thing. But when you look back over the year and be like, oh yeah, I can see these little points where I got that little bit better in whatever thing you want to get better at. Mine is confidence, putting myself out there, public speaking in however capacity that comes through, including podcasting and guest coaching. And yeah, I'm really proud I did that. So then we get into April. I'm probably missing a load of stuff here. Easter, I went for a walk with my friend Ruth, had a nice lunch outside by Cannock Chase, so that's quite nice. And then I went to Sandwell Valley Farm and Park, or Sandwell Valley Park and Farm with my parents and my nan for Easter Sunday, which was very nice. I met a few friends the week after, including my friend Sarah, who I met in Lichfield. She's actually from Birmingham, which is not too far away from my hometown, lives in Devon. I met her in Spain. So one of my travel buddies, and it was really good to see her. So April, I met up with my friends, my Colorado ladies, I call them, even though my friend Ruth wasn't in Colorado. It's when I went to the University of Colorado Boulder, and we meet up every so often. I think this is when we went and had dinner in like one of those dome things that popped up during COVID, which was quite cool. And then stayed over at my friend Vicky's place in Cambridge for a couple of days. And then 27th, I flew to Bilbao, Spain for my second Basque Country pop-up co-living stay with Sun & Co. And it was my third stay with them in total, but second time at the Basque Country. And I've done episodes about this. I've talked about it a lot, but you can read about this year's adventure. Number 45 is called Welcome to the Basque Country, episode number 45. Episode 53 is the Ballad of Colin the Donkey, which happened when I was there. And then 55 and 56 are Basque Country Co-Living Roundup Part 1 and Part 2. So I won't go over everything, but if you want to hear more about it, you can check out those episodes. I really liked going back there. It was the same villa, the same house as last year. That's where this whole travel transformation thing started. It's where I did my first workshop, and I was terrified. And then I threw myself into all the personal events, all the professional events, all the social events, and just did everything I could to put myself outside my comfort zone. So I wanted to go back, and a few friends from last time, the Basque Country, and from different co-living in Sun and Co, but in Javier, Spain, were going. So my friend Caitlin was going, my friend Diana was going, Issa, who I'd met before briefly in Javier, was going. I knew Fer and Eva, who were the hosts. My friends Bjorn and Basil were going to be there. A few other people as well that I sort of either knew or knew of. And it was really great to see them all again. And yeah, I had a great time. Saw Colin the donkey again. House was amazing. We got work done, did loads of events. It was really, really cool. So, but first I got there, I went to Bilbao and I stayed in the same hotel I stayed in last time, Pension Ama Bilbao, which is right in the middle of the old town, which was really cool. I met up with Kiana, who came from Manchester. Would have been the same flight, but I went there the night before so I could get there and sleep. I went to the Guggenheim Museum and then checked into the pop-up. And yeah, we did all kinds of stuff, all kinds of masterminds, workshops, group things, lots of stuff, lots of family dinners, lots of outings. Went to Guernica, went to, I went to San Sebastian afterwards, local bars. Yeah, it was just a really cool thing. I was there for a month. And then after that, I headed to Bilbao for a couple of days with most of the people who were there. We did a kind of spin-off, and you can hear about that in episode 57, pop-up spin-off roundup. We went to Bilbao, had a great time. That was the night of the #bridge party, which you can hear about in episode 57. And yeah, it was a really great time. Then I went to San Sebastian with Diana, which is what we were discussing when we had that Zoom right back in January. And our friend Manu was also there from the Netherlands. We met up with her quite a bit too. Then I flew to Switzerland on my own, to Zurich. I had a night in the Easy Hotel in Zurich, and then went to my friend Evelina's house, although she'd already left by the time I got there. She was going away for about a month, and I was cat-sitting her amazing cat, Mr. B. He's lovely, and she had a very nice apartment in Zurich. And my friend Sunny came for a bit as well and stayed with me, and we did some exploring. I met up with my friend Lydia. We went to the lake. I met her in Spain last year at the pop-up, and met up with some of her friends as well. And I was doing a lot of work at this point, but we managed to go on a day trip. Me and Sunny went to Lucerne, which is a really nice fairy tale place in Switzerland with the Chapel Bridge, beautiful lake. We had dinner by the river, lots of turrets and gables and fairy tale looking stuff, and I really enjoyed that. Sunny then left to go to a new co-living. She was helping them build it. Well, not build it. She's helping them decorate and stuff like that in Switzerland, further south. I met up with Lydia again, and then Evelina came back for a couple of days, so I went away for a little 3 or 4 day trip by myself, taking my laptop with me, but I only did a couple of hours a day on the trains and stuff like that. I love the trains in Switzerland. Anyway, I went to Bern, I went to Interlaken, Ringenberg, then I went to France for a bit, Colmar and Strasbourg, came back via Basel, and then back to Zurich. Hung out with Sunny and Lydia in the Chinese garden on the Sunday, and then left the day after, I believe. But if you want to hear about Switzerland, I also did a podcast episode on that. So that's episode 64, Switzerland Cat Sitting Roundup. And yeah, I love Switzerland. The lakes, the mountains, everything's so clean. The trains are amazing. It's expensive, yes, but for a reason. It's really, really nice. And so glad I got to go there. So thank you, Evelina. And hi, Mr. B, if you're listening to this. So that was most of June. July. Then I came back to England. I was considering going to Austria, maybe somewhere else. I had a couple of weeks left on my Schengen visa. well, it's not really a visa. You don't have to apply or anything, but as a post-Brexit Brit, I get 90 days in the Schengen zone. So that's not all European countries. Some of them aren't in the Schengen zone. 90 days in every 180 days. So I didn't want to go right up to 90 days in case I wanted to come back to Europe within the next 90 days. And also I'd spent a lot of money in Switzerland. Yeah, so I came back to England, back to doing lots of work.
I just want to interrupt this awesome podcast episode for a moment to tell you about Write Your Life, the ultimate life hack for achieving your dreams by Jessica Grace Coleman, a book that teaches you how to design your dream life and then go live it. Life is what you make it. Life is what you write it to be. And you can write whatever you want. Let me show you how. The Write Your Life method gives you all the tools and techniques you need to identify your ambitions, plan your goals, and ultimately achieve all your wildest dreams, all while having fun and getting creative. And you don't need to be a writer to benefit from the Write Your Life method. This book can help anyone, anywhere design their ultimate dream lifestyle. Get it now from Amazon or head to www.traveltransformationcoach.com/books. You'll also get a digital copy completely free when you sign up to the Flip the Script Academy at traveltransformationcoach.com/academy, where we teach you that life is short, so let's make sure it's nothing short of amazing. And now let's get back to the Travel Transformation Podcast.
I'm just looking through my calendar. Did I do anything interesting? Lots of podcast stuff, hanging out with friends, seeing Barbie. Then it's my dad's birthday in August, went out for a meal, lots of family stuff, dinner at a pub with friends. Went into hen do season because two of my friends from high school were getting married. So I had a hen do for Kelly, which was a very lovely afternoon tea at this kind of country place. Lovely. And then the week after, it was my friend Tony's hen do. We went to Birmingham. We did it's called the Big Birmingham Bake or something like that. It's basically the Bake Off, but it's not branded as the Bake Off because they have no affiliation with it. But it's basically the Great British Bake Off or the Great British Baking Show, I think it's called in the States. I'm not sure. Anyway, we did that. I teamed up with my friend Joe, who actually does bake. So that was, a good move on my part. We actually came second. We did a checkerboard cake and it actually tasted really nice. But then we had to carry it around Birmingham in the sun for the whole day and it completely melted and died. But anyway, that was really fun. I highly recommend doing the Bake Off. Big Birmingham Bake. I know there's one in London. I think there's one somewhere else as well. Very fun. We also had dinner and drinks. Yep, a lot of work. I signed up to Her House, which is an app which is great for solo female travelers. So you can search for a place and you can see if there are any Her House hosts. And it's basically people who are willing to have solo female travelers, they're all women, to stay with them for free. And they can show you around, you can hang out with their friends. And it's a way of traveling more safely and cheaply. So I haven't actually used it yet, but in 2024, that is something I would really like to look into, especially I'd really like to go to the States in autumn. So I need to start contacting people on there, building relationships, see where I could go. So that is something I signed up for, which I am really glad I signed up for. So on Sunday, the 3rd of September, I went to London, back to London, to Notting Hill. And the day after, I did a photo shoot with Domi, who is from Photo Walk in London. And she's been on the podcast twice now because she came on and then she offered me to go and have a photo shoot. She does solo female traveller photo shoots, which I love. Love the idea of that. So I went and did that, and then we did a podcast episode after it, and I had a great time wandering around Notting Hill. I went and saw Barbie again at the cinema. It was a really cool independent cinema in Notting Hill, and it looked amazing, like one of those proper ye olde ones with the little tables with the little lamps on, and it was just really cool. But the only thing showing on the day I was there was Barbie, so I saw that again by myself. There were a few other people there, but it was really, really cool. Had a little date night, had a little glass of Prosecco. I went to a bakery beforehand, got a little snack. It was really great. Anyway, yeah, I loved walking around Notting Hill, the bookshop, seeing all the locations from the film Notting Hill. And then we did the photo shoot. And we did the photo shoot and it was during a heat wave and I was melting and sweaty and disgusting. but Domi is so great. She made it really fun. She's just like, it's just like walking around London with a friend who happens to be taking photos of you. And we went to the street that was in the Love Actually film, the bit with Keira Knightley, Andrew Lincoln doing the card things. And yeah, I had a really good time. And you can hear all about that in the second episode with Dommy, which was number 87, My Solo Traveller Photo Shoot in London with Dommy. So you can hear all about that. So that was another trip to London. Then it was my friend Kelly's wedding in Solihull. This was still when the heat wave was going, and we all melted, but like beautiful weather, sunshine wise for them. Really, really lovely wedding. They had part of it outside, and loads of great food and drink, and yeah, lovely time, even if I was boiling. Then lots more work. It was around this time I signed up for a beta program for a sponsored travel course with Marie Hernandez, who has also come on my podcast. She's been interviewed on my podcast. She is number 96, interview with founder of Seriously Travel and sponsored travel expert Marie Hernandez. So I was doing this at that time as well, learning all about sponsored travel, how to incorporate it into my business, all that good stuff, which is what I'd like to add an element of that to my work in the future, 2024 maybe. Okay, yeah, more podcasting, more working. See, when you look back, some of these weeks look really boring, but as a whole, the year can look pretty cool. So Saturday the 30th of September was my brother's 40th party. I'm 3 years younger, so I've got 3 years to go until I have the big 40. Where it was around his house, lots of food, lots of drink. I hadn't drunk that much in a long time. Oops. And yeah, after that, I thought I had like a week-long hangover. Actually, it was about day 2 or 3 when I started to think maybe this isn't a hangover, this is something else. And I felt really not great. And it was while I was cat sitting for my friend. So I had a little cat friend, but it was also the week of my birthday. My birthday is 2 days after my brother's birthday. And yeah, I felt really, really rubbish. But managed to feel a little bit better by the Friday night. And we went for dinner with my parents, my brother, his girlfriend Donna, celebrated both our birthdays in a nice little pub. So yeah, that was nice. But yeah, didn't feel great for ages. It wasn't COVID. I did check, tested myself. But yeah, actually that was the week I completely binged watched the entire 3 seasons of Ted Lasso. Because while I was at my friend's house, she had Apple TV. And I was like, I'll watch Ted Lasso while I can. And yeah, I couldn't do much work. Every time I looked at my laptop screen, my head exploded. So I was like, I'll just keep binging Ted Lasso. And I really want to watch it again while I'm, not really ill, because I think I'd probably get a lot more out of it, but I loved it. Anyway, so we're into October now, and I love October. I love autumn. I love all the autumn leaves. I love all that good stuff, but I wasn't feeling great for a lot of it, so that's slightly annoying. Lots of work, lots of podcasting. And then it was my friend Tony and Emma's wedding on 27th of October. Again, in a lovely sort of country house place, not too far from my hometown, and lots of lovely food and drink again. And they had some of the rooms in the building were like proper country club style rooms, and I was like, I could picture myself just chilling out here every week. It was really good, and they had an amazing magician who came around doing close-up magic, and I cannot understand how he did most of the stuff. He turned like this little piece of fabric into a lollipop right before my eyes, like literally right next to my eyes. He gave me the lollipop, and loads of other amazing things that we could not figure out what was going on. So around this time, there was a lot going on, generally, family-wise, stuff like that. So things weren't great around this time. I'm not going to go into details, but there was a lot going on. Wednesday the 1st of November was my nan's 98th birthday, and we went to visit her, gave her presents, and yeah, it was really great to see her on her 98th birthday. It's such a huge, huge, huge achievement. Sadly, she's not doing so well at the moment as I speak, but on her birthday, she was really with it. She was zooming around, force feeding us cake, which she likes to do. And yeah, it was really amazing. I mean, how incredible is it to get to 98? That's amazing. Then Saturday the 4th, I went to Wales with my friends Vicky and Ruth. This is where we had the hot tub, number 1 and only one hot tub. It was terrible weather most of the week, but we did get a couple of nice days, and we did a lot of exploring, but also a lot of relaxing. That was really nice. And like I say, you can listen to that in number 101, Are You Getting Your Own Way? A Welsh Story. Came back from there, worky. It was around this time I joined a online course about course building. So it's Amy Porterfield's Digital Course Academy. I have created lots of courses, but I never really know what I'm doing with them. So I've been listening to her podcast for ages. I've read her book. I think she's great, Amy Porterfield. And yeah, so the three main investments I made in my business this year were going to Expert Empires. It's all about business building, entrepreneurship, all that kind of stuff in London. I was going to go again in November, but with a lot going on, I gave my ticket to my brother Dave, and I think he got some stuff out of it as well. And then the sponsored travel beta program I did, and then Digital Course Academy, which I'm currently taking right now. So I'm a big believer in investing in yourself, investing in your business if you have one, but investing in your self-development. I've also read a lot of business and self-development books this year, as I do every year, and I think it's really important to constantly be learning new stuff and challenging yourself to grow in any way possible. And that's what I've been doing. Those three things are the main things I invested in myself and my business this year, I think, as well as obviously travel, which I think is totally an investment in your confidence, in meeting new people, making new friends, making connections. My podcast has helped me. Going on other people's podcasts has helped me confidence-wise, networking-wise. And yeah, you can't discount the little things over time, cumulatively, what they add up to. It's amazing when you really pause to think about it. Okay, so that brings us to December, I believe. Rest of November, I had a couple of dinners with friends, and yes, December. So it's actually the 9th of December when I'm recording this, so it's not quite at the end of the year. And I've just been dog sitting for a couple of people I know. Lovely, lovely puppies. Puddles and Fudge, aka Boo Boo. I love dog sitting, cat sitting. I'm a huge animal lover. It's nice to have a different change of scenery. It's a great way of staying in different places and hanging out with animals. So that's what I've been doing the past couple of days. Next week, I'm going to be meeting up with some friends that I haven't seen for a long time. I'm going to have afternoon tea at my favourite tea room in my hometown called Cup of Cha. It is a completely amazingly decorated tea room, all British stuff, all royal stuff. And they do amazing food and drinks, so I love it. And my brother got me afternoon tea vouchers for my birthday, so I'm going to go with him. We used to go there every week to have like a businessy meeting, but I would just end up having cake for breakfast every week, so it wasn't great health-wise, but I'm really looking forward to the afternoon tea. The week after, I'm going to this thing called Illuminate at Shugborough Hall, which is a local stately home. My mum used to work at Shugborough Hall when I was little. I went last year to Illuminate. It was very cold, but very nice. They do all like light shows and stuff like that. So I'm going there with some friends. Then it's my friend Susie's birthday, so I'm going to go see her. And then it's Christmas, which is absolutely insane. So it is my plan to have a whole week off, but it's going to be off emails, off editing work, off admin work, and I'm just going to focus on one thing I want to do next year, which is why I've been taking this course. It's what I've been doing a lot of content around, and it's what I really want to be known for. So I'm going to be working, but it's like really fun work, coming up with ideas, things like that. That stuff gives me energy. It doesn't drain my energy like a lot of my work does. So I'm looking forward to a week of that. I've also bought a couple of books all about creating your best year yet. I think one of them is called Your Best Year Yet. One of them is called Your Best Year Ever. I can't remember the authors off the top of my head, but I'm also going to be reading those during that week and coming up with a plan for 2024. So I'm looking forward to that. I'll probably also watch lots of Hallmarky Christmas movies and eat lots of mince pies as well, but that's standard. So that was my 2023. And like I say, looking back, it's not as hugely transformational as the year before was, when I did the Flip the Script on Fear challenge. I put all this stuff in storage. I left my house. I went traveling. I wrote a book. I started a podcast. I started a new business. I overcame my fear of public speaking. I did all this amazing stuff. And I have done amazing stuff this year too. Going to South Africa was really, really cool. Not something I would have ever done if I hadn't met someone from South Africa. So that's what travel can do for you. Completely amazing experience, even if I was dying in the heat. Going back to Spain was obviously another highlight. Bilbao and San Sebastian as well. Switzerland, amazing. So glad I got to go there. My few jaunts to London were really good. I've been enjoying the courses and online programs I'm doing. Catching up with friends. My friends' weddings and hen dos were really fun. All the Christmassy stuff. When I think of it like that, and being on other people's podcasts and stuff like that, and overcoming that fear, it has been quite a jam-packed year. And I'm going to Wales as well. That was really nice, relaxing time. And yeah, there's been some horrible times, like I'm sure everyone has had, and some stressful times, but I am very grateful for the good times I've had this year as well. So it's worth going back over your calendar, if you do keep a calendar or a diary, looking at all the things you've done, all the things you've achieved, and how that's helped you grow or gain confidence or whatever it is that you have been trying to do this year. So yeah, I think it's been a year of pivoting, figuring out what I want to do. Like I say, I'm going to have that week where I'm figuring out what I'm doing next year. Sort of honing my craft, honing my message. I was hoping to build my brand a lot more this year, marketing and PR. I talked last year in the episode about Operation Gellert and Gilmore, which I took from Gilmore Girls, when Paris Gellert and Rory Gilmore do a crazy thing when they're leaving college, when they're looking at their next steps, job-wise, university-wise, all that kind of stuff. And they have this huge list of every area of their life where they could, progress, and they go out there and do things. And I wanted to do that this year with my business, but I'm sort of having trouble pinning down exactly what I want to do and who I want to help and what I want to help them with. But I'm getting closer, and I'm hoping this week off at Christmas will help me get through all that. And then I can do Operation Gellert and Gilmore next year when I'm completely clear. I need more clarity on stuff before I go all in with it. So that's why I've been putting it off. And yeah, it's been a year of networking with my podcast. It's been a year of gaining confidence in terms of being interviewed and interviewing other people. It's been a year of strengthening friendships I've already made with people I met through traveling. So like I mentioned, Caitlin, Basil, Bjorn, Fer, Eva, Sunny, Irene, Deanna, Lydia, Sarah. So many great people I've met. I've met again, but I've also met so many new people this time who I hope to see again. So that is a huge win as well. And like I said, in 2022, I think I said in the episode, 2021, my world was small. In 2022, it got a lot bigger. In 2023, it definitely got a lot bigger because I went to a whole new continent and met way more new people. I've loved seeing Colin the donkey again this year. I've now got a contact in the Basque Country, Pedro, who's been giving me updates, taking in food, saying it's from me. So that's amazing. And yeah, I also want to point out one of my favourite books I read this year was The Art of Making Memories. It's the same guy who wrote the little book of Hygge, Mike Viking. It's Danish. I probably completely butchered that. I'm sorry. But The Art of Making Memories book, a lot of the stuff I'm looking at doing next year, it's around the movifying your life thing, the magical moving moments I talk about. And it's all about creating epic memories you'll never forget. So that book has really helped me. I'm going to read it again. I'm going to use some of it as a basis for some of my own stuff, my own exercises, my own fun stuff that I want to help people with. So overall, very happy with 2023. I progressed in several areas, saw a lot more of the world. Like I say, saw Colin again, met up with travel buddies. ChatGPT, or Uncle ChatGPT, as I said, has been a huge help this year. Like, really has. I'm loving how you have an assistant for free, unless you pay for the paid one, but you can do it for free. And it can really help you hone your message, decide what you want to do, help you with content, help you with ideas, someone to bounce things off, even if that someone is a robot. Yeah, I'm glad I had one hot tub, at least. Did more dog and cat sitting, and more experience working while traveling, lots of experiencing podcasting and interviewing and being interviewed on other people's podcasts. And yeah, I've like I say, I have my editing and proofreading business, but I've also made some money from my travel transformation company, which I hope to continue in the future. And yeah, it's been a year of pivoting and figuring out what I want to do. So hopefully next year will be a year of clarity. Let's say my theme, my word of the year for next year that I'm aiming for is clarity. I want clarity on what I want to do, clarity on what I want to help people with, and I want to help people gain clarity in their lives as well. So what do I want for 2024? At least 2 hot tubs. Hopefully more dog and cat sitting, hanging out with animals in general. I don't know if I'll be going back to the Basque Country. I know they're doing the pop-up. I don't know if they're doing it in the same place. But even if I don't go to that, I can always pop on a plane to Bilbao and go and see Colin at some point. Travel-wise, I would love to go to a Christmas market in Europe next year. I had hoped to go this year, but it didn't happen for various reasons. But I really want to go to Colmar in France, where I went in the summer, and they have their own Christmas markets, and it's incredibly cute anyway during the year. I can only imagine how cute it is at Christmas with all the lights and everything, cuteness overload. So that is one of my big goals that I want to do next year. I also really want to go to New England in autumn. I've been wanting to go back there since I last went, which was 2017. Loved it so much. It's not super far away from England. It's the right coast to get to easily. I would love to go to several other places in states, Nashville, Dollywood, Austin, Texas. I really want to do Banff National Park, Oregon, Washington, Vancouver, see my friend Deanna. That's probably not going to happen next year, but I'm really hoping to go to the States next autumn. Do a mix of meeting up with people. I have a few people I know who live over there. My friend Barbara lives in New York. My friend Caitlin lives in New Jersey. I met a couple of other people recently who live in New York, Dosie and Kathy. They're at the pop-up as well. I really want to go all around New England again. And my friends Vicky and Ruth might come with me for that bit. I've got a friend I'd like to visit in Kentucky. And a few of us want to do New Orleans. And if I'm there, maybe I'll pop over to Dollywood and Nashville. And yeah, I would love to do that. And hopefully I'll find some people on Her House so I can go and stay with them as well. So that's my main travel plan for next year. Like I say, I keep wanting to go back every year, but then COVID happened. I had back issues. And last year I spent all my money in Europe. So I'm going to prioritize the States this year and hopefully do more courses, more investment in my self-development, read more books, listen to a whole lot more podcasts, which I do every day anyway. And yeah, really gain clarity on what I want to do, what I want to help people with, and hopefully start making money through my courses and online coaching more, as well as my editing business, which I enjoy doing, but it is not scalable or passive income. And I've been doing it full time for nearly 10 years now. So that's a lot of books I've edited. And you do get to a point where you can't look at another Word document. So I'm going to have to try and figure out how to combine both my businesses and not just rely on one. So those are my goals for 2024. Keep going with this podcast, going to 1 a week. I might be doing a pop-up podcast. I've been listening a lot to this podcast called Podcasting Business School. Been learning a lot. The guy on there is great. And he does sort of limited series podcasts and he uses them as an actual funnel for his business. So I might be looking at that with my new direction once I figure out exactly what that is. But that doesn't mean that Travel Transformation Podcast will stop. That will just be a limited series one. It will have like 10, 15, 20 small episodes that will get released all at once that people can binge if they like, and hopefully get them interested in my content around that. So that is potentially something I'm looking at doing next year as well. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I could ramble on forever about my goals, all that kind of stuff. I will let you know if the books I got about the best year yet and the best year ever, or your best year ever, your best year yet, are any good. I'm sure they will be. They've got good reviews online. And yeah, this is the last episode before Christmas. So I hope you have, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, I hope you have a lovely festive period, Hope you managed to get some rest. I know a lot of people are working completely over the holidays, but I hope you managed to at least find a pocket of time for yourself to reflect over the past year and look forward to the next year. And hopefully this time next year, you'll be listening to my episode, my review of the year and my 2025 plans. And 2025 just sounds insane to me. But anyway, I hope you have a great Christmas. As I said, I'm not here next week for Christmas week. I'll be back the week after talking about all the good New Year, New Me stuff and what you're looking to achieve in 2024. So until then, I'll catch you on the flip side. Thank you for listening to the Travel Transformation Podcast with me, Jessica Grace Coleman. If you enjoyed this episode, I would really appreciate it if you could please subscribe, rate and review, and spread the word, because it's my mission to help as many people as possible to flip the script on their lives and transform through travel. And remember, life is short, so let's make sure it's nothing short of amazing. Until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.